Dear beloved community, it's very sorry, we're not able to hear. So, in our retreat, we are open to receive. So, upcoming, we're going to have a retreat with the scientists, with the theme, the Buddha, the scientist, and we are all open to receive the views and thoughts from others. As a true practitioner, we are open to new views. We go beyond our own liking, our own pre-notions, the things that we are comfortable or like. What's this word? So we are open to receive the views and the insights from other areas. We go beyond what our liking, what we are familiar with, and we have the tendency to protect our own views, what we believe in, what we like, we think what's beautiful. If we don't like something, we cannot believe that there's something wrong or not beautiful in it. If we really believe something is in, our teacher often reminds us that we have to investigate, research, understand more about the science, what the science has discovered, so that we are more informed. Our own teacher is very open and friendly with the new discoveries, and so we also practice like that. We are also like that in the footstep of our teacher, Thay. We may not be the scientists, we may not have a lot of knowledge, but we are always interested in research. I myself am always interested in the new research. A few months ago, I happened to read something on meditation from the angle of science, and there was an article talking about meditation. It helps people to become a bit selfish. That's what they said. At first, when I read it, I was surprised. It kind of caused me a kind of irritation. How can that be? Meditation has helped me to be a better person. So how can that happen? So my emotions started to arise. I thought there must be some kind of misunderstanding. Somebody wants to speak badly about us or have some kind of assumptions. But I control my emotions. I moderated it. And that web page they also, they were open-minded enough. They wrote something about the Buddha, so it was not something like maybe just a different angle they were looking at. They did not have the intention to distort meditation or anything. So I looked deeply. Why would it cause people to be more selfish? In my own perception, experience, meditation is truly wonderful. It has brought me So an open mind, a new view, it has brought me this energy for myself. It has helped me to change my own perceptions. That's more. It has helped change the quality of my life. It has brought me in the right direction. I'm much more wholesome, have deeper views about my own life and what's happening around me, in the community as well as in the people, in society. It has been affirmed by many others. Many people have become more successful in their lives, and it has even become like a movement in society. People from different classes, different fields, they also bring meditation into their own life. And so I can say affirmatively that it has a very positive aspect in our life. It can bring many changes in our lives. Then why can there be these riches that say it brings about selfishness, even though it can happen only to a few, a minority of people? I felt I needed to put aside my, the thing I love and liked and believed in, so that I can receive it from a different angle. The success of meditation over myself, to myself, it is a truth. But just from the angle that is not yet perfected or positive for some others, it's a possibility. Then how can we receive, understand that situation? How can we understand that situation from that angle? As I was looking into this issue, I remembered, I recalled the old days that there were those who practice meditation, and they talked about it from that we need to look deeply into compassion and loving kindness. It was applied since a very long time ago, so that as we practice meditation, our energy and why is there this advice that we need to cultivate our, I think, compassion and loving kindness? Many years ago, when I first came to the practice, I had not known anything about meditation, but I was also shared. I was also told that a monk, a spiritual practitioner, as we practice, if we hide anything in our capacity to liberate, if we don't share, if we hide something, if we don't share with others something that we hide inside, then we cannot ever succeed. I knew nothing about the teachings or anything, but I accepted it readily. I accepted it as a truth. And it was just like that. It's simple as that in my own consciousness until now. I believe that we should not hide anything or secret, even if it's a secret to the success in the practice. back then, before that, a few years, and after that, a few years, like when the Berlin Wall fell, because brother lived in Germany, and the young people, they try to learn martial arts to defend themselves for themselves. It was a very normal thing, and in my own in the perception of those martial artists or those who wanted to learn, it's just the superficial out, but I followed them also. I was interested in the legends, and I learned this story, this legend. There was this teacher. He would always try to keep the secrets of his martial arts. He would not share all the strategies, because so that he could prevent, those who would betray him would take over his position. So he would keep secret his highest strategies. And the young people, when they try to learn martial arts, they were very interested in that story, and they felt that was just a reality. Of course, it would be like that. And so it's the same thing in business. When a leader, an inventor, when they become very successful, they would also keep their secrets so that they can be beyond others, and everybody would accept that as a reality. It's natural. But what is natural for a spiritual practitioner, for a monk or nun, it will be different. It will be a different direction. We would not hide, keep secret anything. So that the capacity to go towards liberation for ourselves and for others, if we hide anything, then we ourselves would not go forward towards the highest awakening. It's also a fact, a natural thing, that we hide nothing. And so it is this acceptance, a natural acceptance. It brings the consciousness, the direction of a spiritual practitioner to a different direction. Of course, it's like that. If somebody is lucky, fortunate to be, to be in touch with the meditative practice and invest wholeheartedly in our daily life, with certainty that person will have great transformation. A person who is transmitted in a very efficient, very effective practice in our own life, in our own work. The meditation in our daily life gives us an internal strength. It helps us to become more stable. A person who applies meditation in our daily life, or we can live near those who practice meditation daily, we will benefit from our own practice energy or the practice energy of the person near us. So this energy is cultivated day by day, and we become more stable. There are difficulties that before we could not bear, but now we can totally confront these difficulties, and we will not falter apart. In fact, we can confront violent acts or worse, and we will not become a hateful person. We can still maintain the mind of love, the mind that wants to serve, that help others. We always want to build a community, an environment that is wholesome and beautiful for everyone else. Our teacher said the difficulties in our daily life in the monastery is like a storm in a vegetarian bowl of soup. It's because when we accept that the fact that our own practice is not for us, but it's for the community, then naturally it becomes a protection for us. Then we will not be pulled away by the dark energy in us. And those of us who only see meditation for ourselves, we cannot say that meditators become bad people, because they become stronger. They see that their lives, their internal life becomes richer. They can confront difficulties without falling apart. Even though, like that article, they describe that there are some people who become more self-centered, more selfish. They just want to enjoy the good things that meditation brings for themselves, and they don't care about what's happening to others and to society or the world. We cannot say that they become bad. But it's true that it can happen. It has also happened to some monastic practitioners. When I was a novice, one elder brother told me, as we were doing meditation, he said that when we do sitting meditation, we feel very peaceful with our mindful breathing. We feel very pleased, very at ease. We feel we can be in control of our mind. The afflictions are put aside. It's very comfortable. It's like it's this cool, refreshing energy that we benefit. And we do have that tendency. We want to be immersed in that energy forever. But that elder brother had more experience. He said, when we touch that experience, we have to use that energy to look deeply into our life. If we become immersed in that just feeling good energy, then we will not go very far. Then maybe that happens to those who are the meditators who become very selfish, because it is enticing. The peace in our mind helps us to sit stably before the storms of life. The difficulties are still there, but we will not be reactive. We will not be too coarse towards our reactions, because our internal strength is stronger. But if we are drowned in it, then truly it only keeps us in that zone. It doesn't bring our mind at the level higher, or to see more deeply into the situation. Then why? There are two different results like that, even though there's still the minority of those who become more selfish. And it's not just amongst those who use meditation as a convenience, as a way to better themselves. And it can also happen in the life of a monastic, especially within the peace and the happiness from the beginning. We still want to find something for ourselves. It is true. Even though that even if a center wants to close to just have our own peace and joy, but the natural way force is that we still have to be open. From the very beginning, when we accept the view that a practitioner, a monastic will not hide any kind of secrets or skills, or so that we can become successful. We are willing, ready to share everything of our successful experiences. Hiding will not bring any success, but it will become an obstacle on our own path of liberation. From then until recently, I still accept it as something natural. I never rethought about it. And yet, as I read that article, and I had to re-examine that issue again, and to see that I am truly fortunate, because as I first came to a meditation, I learned that we need to share everything. It is as our own protection. Our life begins not a life of meditation is not just for ourselves, but for everybody. It helped change my worldview from the very beginning. And yet 20 years later, more than 20 years later, only then I realized that what I felt as natural, although I accepted it so readily from the beginning, and yet it's still a lesson and experience from others. It was not my own until I have to reflect on it. And then, only then, I realized there are things that I feel as absolute truths, as natural. I felt they were mine, but they still were not mine yet. They will still belong to others. Although they always manifest in the last more than 20 years as a practitioner, only when I look deeply into that situation, then it became a part of me. Even though the content was still the same, there was nothing changed. Back then, there was an elder brother who told me, if we can only repeat what our teacher taught, that's already a great success. And now I also have that great faith to repeat what I learned, because it has become a part of me. Perhaps when we hear something that is very interesting and we feel that it's the truth, but perhaps it's only the truth for somebody else and not ours. If we cannot digest it, if we do not make it as a part of our life, a part of our worldview or belief, one day we may hear something better or contrary. We will be blown away by that new view, will be affected. But only when it becomes something deep in us, it has taken roots in us, then that will be something different. Buddhism makes importance of our own direct experience. It's not that you hear something that is good, then it's yours. You need to experience directly for yourself. In Buddhism, there's a very good example about the finger pointing at the moon. If your understanding is only at the level of the finger, then you have not gone very far. Perhaps you are not, if you can look beyond your finger, it's already a little further, and you're not have not seen the moon, but it's has gone beyond your finger. And listening to a good Dharma talk is not your own liberation, but it's your own process. You have to experience it directly for yourself. Perhaps it will take a lot of time. Perhaps for myself, over 20 years for me to go back from the beginning and look something I learned, and it has helped me. It has manifested in my daily life, but only when I turn it into my own flesh and bones, then I had a deeper belief in it, a deeper understanding of it. And when I reflected on this, contemplated on this, and I saw, and then I went back to the article because my emotion stopped me from reading that article. It was that difficult because I loved the practice to my bone marrow, and yet now there is something that is challenging my faith in it. It took me a few weeks later to look deeply into this issue before I can return to the article. And the other half of the article, they talked about research, that they've more research on this, and they found that this is a very small number of people, and and mainly it happens to people who do not have good relationship with the society, with those around them. How fortunate I was not, I did not fall into that from the beginning. I did not believe in that way. So I received the protection from the very beginning. So I did not have that experience. That meditation should be only for oneself. So I'm sharing here so that you can see that the truth is not, the absolute truth is not something that is natural. It's not something unchangeable or fixed. It still needs, can be re-examined and changed so that it's appropriate to our time, our life, and to have direct experience with it. The quote-unquote absolute truth that we have today can be renewed, can be changed so that it fits the time and space. And we are encouraged to renew, to correct them as we grow in the practice. It's like to let go of one step on the ladder in order to take the next step on the ladder. When we are in touch with the meditation practice, the different Dharma doors, we very much we need to take this advice, the old advice, to cultivate our compassion, our loving kindness, to open our hearts, and at the same time, it is also a wonderful protection when we are not able to overcome the difficulties, the forces in our own mind. We see that very clearly when a person is given a very effective, very powerful tool. Then when that person makes a decision, then that person may not be able to control it. Like the politicians, when they have a lot of power, or a leader of a business, of an organization, when they are so powerful, they they may have the tendency to not be concerned about other issues. That is a true manifestation in everybody. It's just like that martial, the master. He wanted to keep something secret for himself, to protect himself. Or the business leaders or the politicians, when they have effective tools so that they may make very damaging results that can cause destruction to not only their own country but the whole world. As a spiritual practitioner, we will also have very effective, powerful tools or insights that help us to overcome difficulties in our lives. And so our choice now, we would be like those leaders, those business people, we will be like that martial artist, or we will be true to the mind of a practitioner, a monastic or a lay practitioner. They say a monk who practices, it will be of a different, it's the space outside of space. We have to be in a different mental space like that. So it will be up to us. Thay, our teacher, always said that we can all receive and apply the practice in our own creative, intelligent way that is appropriate for us. And for thousands of years before and thousands of years after, we operate on that way, and yet we always have all of the deep practices are always concerned about our community and the world, so that we can protect our mind, at least to protect our community and larger community, so that there's no boundary, no border between us and others, so that our mind can be open and there's no obstacle that it pulls us into certain unwholesome direction. So when we have a chance to live in an environment that we come, if we are lucky from the very beginning, we learn that our practice life is just not for us, for ourselves, and it is for the whole community. Perhaps we take that as a fact. But at some point we need to look deeply into that so that we can see that it is a part of our life, that it has taken roots in our life and it can be realized in our daily life. Then that takes on a different level. We take another step on our practice life. In our practice life, don't let it be like me. It takes 20 years later to go back and look deeply into that. The content is still the same, but it can be. And if later I look back at it, it will be the same, but still my faith will be stronger. It's good to be reminded. That is a success, more or less. But it's very possible that many of us have seen this clearly. We don't need a major declaration or anything. Many of us may have experienced this directly, but it is like a vaccine. It helps those who, I will just accumulate the best things for meditation for just myself. This is a gentle reminder that we need to practice loving kindness and meditation for others. and it brings great results. It is truly wonderful, and it's renew us day by day. It regardless of our spiritual tradition. You do not need to become a Buddhist practitioner to practice meditation. Meditation has been shared under the form of a religion, but it also has been shared as a non-religious practice. You can bring it into any aspect of your life. But you also need to bring along with you this advice so that your mind, your consciousness can be space outside of space, can be more open and vast. I'll ask somebody to read the Discourse on Love on page 229. I don't have the text. It's okay. Oh, Phi will read it out loud.
Discourse on love. He or she who wants to
Discourse on love. I don't know if you can hear it or not.
Upright,
Here.
humble, and capable of using loving speech. He or she will know how to live simply and happily, with senses calm, without being covetous and carried away by the emotions of the majority. Let him or her not do anything that will be disapproved of by the wise ones. And this is what he or she contemplates. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Just as a mother loves and protects her only child at the risk of her own life, we should cultivate boundless love to offer to all living beings in the entire cosmos. We should let our boundless love pervade the whole universe, above, below, and across. Our love will know no obstacles. Our heart will be absolutely free from hatred and enmity. Whether standing or walking, sitting or lying, as long as we are awake, we should maintain this mindfulness of love in our own heart. This is the noblest way of living, free from wrong views, greed, and sensual desires, living in beauty and realizing perfect understanding. Those who practice boundless love will certainly transcend birth and death.
kinh thương yêu.
Now, brother will
Những
read
ai
it
muốn
in
đạt tới an lạc
Vietnamese.
thường những học hạnh thẳng thắn, khiêm cung, biết sử dụng ngôn ngữ từ ái. Những kẻ ấy biết sống đơn giản hạnh phúc, nếp sống từ hòa, điềm đạm, ít ham muốn và không đua đòi theo đám đông. Những kẻ ấy sẽ không làm bất cứ một điều gì mà các bậc thức giả có thể chê cười. Và đây là điều họ luôn luôn tâm niệm. Nguyện cho mọi người và mọi loài được sống trong an toàn và hạnh phúc, tâm tư hiền hậu và thảnh thơi. Nguyện cho tất cả các loài sinh vật trên trái đất đều được sống an lành, những loài yếu, những loài mạnh, những loài cao, những loài thấp, những loài lớn, những loài nhỏ, những loài ta có thể nhìn thấy, những loài ta không thể nhìn thấy, những loài ở gần, những loài ở xa, những loài đã sinh và những loài sắp sinh. Nguyện cho đừng loài nào sát hại loài nào, đừng ai coi nhẹ tính mạng của ai, đừng ai vì giận hờn hoặc ác tâm mà mong cho ai bị đau khổ và khốn đốn. Như một bà mẹ đang đem thân mạng mình che chở cho đứa con duy nhất, chúng ta hãy đem lòng từ bi mà đối xử với tất cả mọi loài. Ta hãy đem lòng từ bi không giới hạn của ta mà bao trùm cả thế gian và muôn loài, từ trên xuống dưới, từ trái sang phải. Lòng từ bi không bị bất cứ một cái gì làm ngăn cách. Tâm ta không còn vương vấn một chút hờn oán hoặc căm thù. Bất cứ lúc nào, khi đi, khi đứng, khi ngồi, khi nằm, miễn là còn thức, ta nguyện duy trì trong ta chánh niệm từ bi. Nếp sống từ bi là nếp sống cao đẹp nhất. Không lạc vào tà kiến, loại dần ham muốn, sống nếp sống lành mạnh và đạt thành trí giác. Hành giả chắc chắn sẽ vượt thoát khỏi tử sinh. Nếp sống từ bi là nếp sống cao đẹp nhất, là được sống chọn làm câu kinh hay nhất.
The life of compassion is
Vài đoạn ở đây
is the most noble life. It's the most beautiful life. That's what Thay emphasized. So
sống trong đời sống của người
soon
xuất gia.
we will have a group of
Mời
young
quý vị
people
tới xem
receive the ordination.
họ phát nguyện
So
để được sống trong
to have
cái
that
sự
ceremony, and we invite you to come to attend this ordination September 25th.
ở tất cả các trung tâm của làng Mai.
It's on a Sunday, right after we
hiểu biết và thương yêu luôn luôn được dạy kèm
begin our 3-month autumn
để
retreat.
nó trở thành một cái đảm bảo cho cái sự thành công.
We make a vow to live as a sangha so that it ensures our success alive with our practice.
Quý vị có thể thử trong vòng 5-6 năm.
You may make a vow to be a monk, a monastic for your whole life, or for 5 years, and you can still benefit a great deal.
Những người trẻ đó phát nguyện sống đời sống như một
These young people give rise to this aspiration to live this life of compassion. Thank you.